Example 4 is essentially reverse of what we just did in example 3. We're given a graph and we're going to see if we can figure out what the equation is. It says that it's either cubic or quartic. Quartic is degree 4. So that should narrow it down. And it's easy to tell the difference between those two. So how can you determine the equation of the graph? The first thing I would notice is that this is a cubic function because the end behaviors go in opposite directions, meaning it has to have an odd degree. And if it's either cubic or quartic, that means it's cubic. The next thing to notice is that the end behaviors go in opposite directions of what y equals x cubed would be. It falls to the right and rises to the left. If it was a positive, then it would do the opposite. It would fall to the left and rise to the right. So I know that there's a negative out front. Next point is just to understand how it got shifted. So if you look at basically the inflection point of the cubic function, that's what would have been at the origin if this was just y equals negative x cubed. But it's at -3, -1. That means it got shifted 3 units to the left, which means it should be +3 on the inside. And it got shifted 1 unit down, so it'll be -1 on the outside. So the entire function would be f of x is equal to negative x plus 3 cubed minus 1. It wasn't stretched anyway. That's why there's no other number that's a leading coefficient, but it is negative out there, again, because it starts high and goes low. If it started low and went high, then there would be no negative sign out front. Let's look at the next one. It says the given graph is a transformation of the, so same thing. So this one has end behavior that is the same on both sides, meaning this one's definitely quartic as opposed to cubic because it has to have an even degree. We also can identify that since they're both pointing down, that it's going to be a negative out front. Again, so leading coefficient is going to be negative. And then basically, like a quadratic, you have a vertex here. That point is at positive 1, 5, meaning it went right 1, so it's going to be -1 on the inside, and it went up 5, so it's +5 on the outside. So the entire function would be f of x is equal to negative x minus 1 to the 4th power plus 5. Here you got 2 triads, so give them both a try and come back and check answers. For part A, identified that it was cubic. So that's opposite, the end behaviors are opposite directions. So given the 2 choices, it has to be cubic. There's a negative out front because it is starting high and ending low. It's -2 on the inside because we moved right 2, and it's +4 on the outside because we moved up 4. For part B, I identified that it was a 4th degree because given the 2 choices, it has to be an even degree, so it's going to be the 4, not the 3. It does open up in both directions, so that's why there is no negative out front like there was for part A. It moved left 1, which is why it's a +1 on the inside, and it moved down 3, so that's why it's -3 on the outside. All right. Let's take a look at example 5.